This episode is brought to you by Peacock. The new Peacock original documentary, Matthew Perry, A Hollywood Tragedy, dives deep into the beloved actor's rise to fame and his tragic death. 5 people, including Perry's personal assistant, 2 medical doctors, and an alleged Hollywood drug dealer known as the Ketamine Queen, were charged with conspiracy to illegally provide Perry with the ketamine. Explore the details of the case in this heartbreaking special, streaming now only on Peacock.
At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Watch the world's biggest tennis stars battle at the BNP Paribas Open, live on Tennis Channel. And witness the magic in Indian Wells, California, at one of the greatest events in sports. Live on Tennis Channel and streaming on the Tennis Channel app.
Empower. Claire is practicing her breathing for her upcoming yoga retreat in Bali. Has she ever done yoga before? No. But Claire worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Join our 19 million customers today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisor Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Om Namaste.
My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer, whiskey, wine or gin. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another shade of blue. We are the KC Soccer Journal. My name is Cody Bradley. Thad, Robert, and Carrie are all here in the studio with me. Happy Oscars Day to those who celebrate. Love this time of year. Been watching a whole bunch of movies. But we've got soccer to talk about, regrettably. Sporting Kansas City soccer.
Regrettably, Cody? Regrettably? He's gotten bitten by the negative bug.
Yeah, I am.
He's jumped ship. He's went over to the Comets.
Yes, hasn't he?
I am.
More on that later.
I am quite negative with the team right now. I turned a corner, I think, watching that game.
Do you want to alter your prediction?
Right.
No, I don't think I've gone that far away from it. I'm trying to not jump to conclusions. It is just 2 games in. I think 9th place is still doable the way this league works, so I'm not backing down on that one yet.
Just trying
16 points, Cody.
But that is right. I did avoid Sporting Kansas City last night, and I went to go play in the celebrity game for the Comets.
Celebrity.
Hey,
Love the way he says that.
They call it that. I didn't name myself a celebrity. So let's regrettably talk about Sporting Kansas City. Home opener last night. Thad, I want to hear about the vibes, what it felt like in the stadium. The whole fan base is just delirious right now. 2 bad seasons, everyone's frustrated, years of struggle, and so much so they've just lost their minds and were turning themselves into Mario Penguins on social media last week.
I still have no clue what the hell
I
is
don't
going
really
on.
know.
I don't either, Thad. Thank you.
Just strange internet
Please,
fun
Carrie.
is
Please,
what
Carrie.
it was.
I had somebody that works for the team yesterday say, "What is going on with this?"
I had the memo penguin, let me just say that, for 24 hours.
Is that a disease? What is that?
Was that an explanation? I had the memo penguin. That's not an explanation.
Yeah. Is there
Does he play poorly too?
medicine for that? A vaccine?
I think we're at risk here of it's just a fun, weird internet thing. Should we not explain it?
No.
Is there anything to explain?
So there is the old Gen Z millennial website, Club Penguin, that got shut down. And so I really don't know who started it. My friend saw a tweet by someone that had Eric Tommy's face over a Club Penguin penguin and tweeted it and said, "What is happening?" And then the guy replied and they said, "Keep it going." And so...
And they did.
Yes.
And that explanation just confused Thad and Robert more.
I'm just nodding my head.
They're just like, oh, that was a bunch of words I'm not familiar with.
So everyone was putting faces of players on Club Penguins.
Okay, let me just explain
Cody
my point
make
of
it
view.
on there?
I know all of those words. They don't make much sense when they put them all together.
They don't make much sense.
It's throwing off my programming.
We're off to a rousing start here. So, Thad, what was this fan base like? If that's what they've resorted to, they just lost their minds, things are weird, but what was it like in the stadium for home opener? Did it have home opener vibes?
Oh, no. I mean, sadly, no. There was moments where it felt like, they'd start to get into it, but when you give up a goal 3 minutes in, you give up a goal 19 minutes, 20 minutes in, there was already people leaving like 22 minutes into the game.
Seriously?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Maybe they were just going to the bathroom. How do you know they were leaving?
4 people walking up the stairs together that all got up at the same time.
And Dad is just
Purses
shaking
in
his
tow.
head. He's shaking his head, cussing under his breath. That's okay. Yeah, they were
Dragging his kids out. Come on, kids.
Actually, I'll
Stand with
partially
us.
blame that comment, this one, on my wife, because her former coworker, had people around him like say, if it gets to do nothing down, we're leaving, and they got up at 20 minutes and walked out. I'm like, and I was watching like 70th minute. I saw like whole groups of people walk up, when there be a stop and play, and it just got worse. And sadly, I mean, it was a 2-1 game.
Yeah.
Hey, but Graham Zuzi and, Andrew Fontes and Johnny Russell and Tim Mealy were there to see it. So good for
Andrew
them.
Fontes, the
Yes.
man is retired.
Andreu, sorry.
There we go. Show some respect. Carrie, the vibes seemed good. Carrie was predicting a win. She had a good interaction with Manu. She made me believe that something was going to happen in this game. So you were at least feeling good in the Cauldron pregame.
I don't think I predicted a win. I just said that I
Don't put that on her.
I
You
just
literally did. There is a message that says we're going to win.
did I
100%.
double check that.
100%.
That was one
I
of the
had-
penguin guys. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I had a blue hell in my hands, and then I fist bumped Manu Garcia. So
Does everyone need to just take a drink of water or something? No one's speaking properly.
Quote, I fist bumped Manu. Vibes are good. We're winning tonight. Unquote.
There we go. It's out there, Carrie. You cannot delete it.
I just screenshot it too, so you cannot go delete it.
What was the attendance of this game? Was there
16,000.
Yeah, see that camera shot showed quite a few empty seats.
East and west side were a little.
The blue light that lights the upper half of the seats really helps. Really fills the seats a little more by giving them color.
That's why they did it.
And it doesn't feel like the seats are as empty.
Sadly, I mean, it's not a great vibe overall at the moment. I was hoping that with new players, people would be a little more excited, like a little more optimism, like, hey, let's go the start of the season and see. But I think there's just so many people have said we're going to wait until they're good. So there'll be bandwagon jumpers. They'll get back on when it's all good.
I
right?
think that the Champions Cup kind of made it seem more like a home opener. Yes, there were less people there because of the cold,
Yeah.
But it was messy.
vibes were better there. At least in the Cauldron is what I felt.
Vibes were better in -6 degrees. Huh?
Sound travels better when the air is cold.
That's true.
Is that true? Where did that come from?
It
Is that
is
real?
true.
Someone look that up. Carrie, look that up.
Cold air is thinner.
Science.
Less moisture.
Thad, you said it a second ago that, maybe it wasn't that bad. It was 2-1. They had some looks at goal. But even with that main advantage, I'm watching this game, and I'm just not sure where the goals are going to come from.
Well,
Even the announcer, guys, was hating on what the team was doing on the other half of the field. He was just calling them out. Look at them right now. They're just standing around. Nobody's moving.
the announcer guy, like the broadcaster on Apple TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, look at, it was happening as he's saying, look at this. No one's moving. No one's doing anything. Oh, there we go. Someone finally made a cut. This was happening on the air. You could see it. It was painful. What's the offense doing? How are we going to score goals, Robert? Someone tell me.
That high voice, Cody. Jeez, he's really pumped up here, isn't he?
I told you, I turned a corner in this game.
Well, I mean, I think, for example, Bartlett, he ran out of gas at a certain point, end of the first half, and then he was only in for 15 minutes the second half.
Yeah.
Joveljic, maybe Agata, Cody's favorite player, should have come in and gave a little more energy because Joveljic was not running to space, not initiating the pass with his runs. So, yes, I agree with that. But you've got to move the ball quicker when you're a man up to find that advantage, right? And I hate to dog on some of the guys that came in, but when we had our subs that came in, that kind of faded away. Again, I don't know if it was fatigue or just the fact that they were sitting in, San Jose was, and we just weren't moving quick enough, but the mentality went down. I'm looking at the stats right now. At halftime, we had 10 shots on goal. We ended with 15, so we only got 5 in the second half, 40 minutes up a man.
Wow.
3 shots on target at halftime. How many do you think we ended the game with?
4.
4 maybe?
3. 1.61
We were giving
XG
him
at
too much
halftime.
credit.
We
Sorry.
end up with a 1.9 XG at the end of the game. So, yeah, the second half was not a good one.
What was it at halftime? I'm sorry. I spoke over you.
1.6 and then 1.9 overall.
0.3 added in that second half while up a man pretty much
40
the
minutes.
entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Peter said after, it's hard to get go against a team that's bunkering and all behind the ball, all stuff. It's true, it's hard, but you had 40 minutes and you got your most creative guys in the last couple years in there, at least for part of it, right? It should have been a little bit better.
And it's not that they didn't do anything. There were some moments, we hit the crossbar off of the set piece. There were a couple moments, but it just, set piece, that's lucky, right? The great equalizer. It just felt like the goals are going to be difficult this year. We need more out of Joveljic.
Yeah, but you remember when we first signed him, I pointed out that his stats are remarkably similar to Polito and Agata. They're still very different players, and I think when things are a little bit better, he will perform better. But he's a guy that's going to have to take that relationship. He's going to have to get passes from Manu and Shoppy and Tommy or whoever else is in there. He's not going to create a lot of it on his own, but he's going to make those runs. But you have to have somebody that can get him the ball. And I saw lots of times where he was making a run and nobody saw him.
I'd like to do a time warp right now and see if in August that Thad's going to make the same point. Remember, I told you that Joveljic's stats are similar to Agata and Polito's.
If you look back over the last 2 years, they're remarkably similar.
Yeah. I
They're
just hope
not
you're
the
not
same
saying
player.
the same thing in August.
They're not the same player, but
Why were we excited about this then?
because he scored 21 goals last year.
Okay,
Well, you've got to realize, too, though, the team that he's playing on in L.A., that's you've got Paint Sill, you've got Peck. It's a fast counterattack team.
Right.
Spaces are open up quicker, easier, bigger. That's not Sporting Kansas City style.
And he was still a bit of a volume shooter, which is why his stats were very similar to Willie and William upon first reference and Allen. That's why they were remarkably similar over a 2-year span. He's going to have good seasons. He's going to have not so great seasons. This may not be his great season, but building towards a better season, hopefully.
But you've got to say, though, looking at the play last night, Manu and Joveljic are making more connections. Shoppy is showing some good stuff on the wing. So there is hope, Carrie. Do you not believe?
No, I mean, Shoppy looked great last night. I mean, I heard people around me, they're going, that is a baller right there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about baller, but he's always positive. There's danger there. And also I really like the connection with Manu. They're coming from the same team. You can tell that they like each other. There's something there.
Look for each other, yeah.
I'd like to bring it back to that we were down a man for 40 minutes. Like, it's just up a man. And couldn't score. It's a very Sporting thing to do.
Oh,
like this is not just within the last 2 years. This is within the last 10 years. It's felt like.
Yes.
It is. That's so spot on. And even the goals they scored, one of which a blunder from a keeper, and the other one was on a really unlucky bounce. We had a tackle, won the ball from him, and the ball just went right to Chicho Arango.
Yeah, because it bounced back off of hit Davis and went right back right into the middle, right for him.
And then it's like, so kind of lucky there. One bad moment, we hit the crossbar, doesn't work out, and that is how every game is gonna go this year. If I'm looking at just this game, Thad, I can convince myself, it's not that bad. Lucky goal. We had some chances. Manu's looking good. He's going to get better. I can convince myself, hey, it's not that bad. But also, we're going to have that conversation every single game this year, right? That's exactly what's going to happen. That's what happened last year.
Well, if you want to talk about Sporting things to do, let's go back before that goal happened. Yeah, it was a lucky bounce, agreed. But we left number 23, don't remember his name, open in a gap, wide to receive the ball that he then plays into... Was it Martinez? I think. Yeah, I think it was Martinez.
Yeah.
And Fernandez goes to help Davis with Martinez. That's where the ball bounces loose. But nobody picks up Arango as he runs through. Leiball's just trailing behind him, watching him. We didn't pick up 23 in the gap. So those are also very Sporting things to do.
San Jose, what happened, man? Just for a decade plus, they were, in my head, a joke of an organization, the worst team. And now all of a sudden it's Chicho Arango, Christian Ramirez, and Josef Martinez, coached by the most winningest coach in MLS history.
With a really good staff, too.
And they went away from the 1v1 marking they used to do under whoever that coach
What
was.
happened all of a sudden? That's crazy.
There was someone in the cauldron that had a tiny wooden spoon, and it said San Jose's wooden spoon, 97, 2000, 08, 18, 24.
Ooh, that's impressive.
Wow.
Wow, that is an actual wooden spoon. Very well done. I don't know how that works as a sign to show the other team. A little small for that, but
You have to get a little personal with it.
All right, so Thad and I were in the locker room after the game, and Cody, you're talking about the second goal. Pulskamp manned up and said, that was a mistake. If I don't make that mistake, we got at least a 1-1 draw. So very admirable for Pulskamp. But what are our thoughts on Pulskamp after 4 matches now?
I'm out. I'm not even gonna lie. That goal was so bad that I think I might be out on the Big Bear already.
Man, you are in and out faster than a hokey pokey.
Good Lord.
I felt old when I said that.
I
man.
told you I fall in love hard, and I guess I can fall out of love hard. No, he just looks. This is what we've always seen from him. That's always been something that he is capable of doing.
Yes, but in seasons past, he's not had the stability of that back line, not only from not good players, but also like last year, most of his matches did not have a single person all of his lineups.
Yeah,
Right.
Famously, Sporting Kansas City used a different lineup.
Yeah, how many
Every-
different
Yes.
back
every
fours did we
single
use
game.
last year?
Which doesn't help a young goalkeeper.
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
at the same time, those were pretty
At the same
bad
time,
goals.
punch that ball out, bro.
Yes.
Well, yeah, he tried to catch it. That was the thing. He just needed to swat it away is what he needed to do.
I mean, it was a foot away from him. Jump forward, punch the ball out.
Yeah.
Do something. I don't know what that flop was. Just, there's a thing that keepers do in the box. Just that little, weird jump thing. I don't know what it is. He looked ridiculous, though.
Well, to help Pulskamp and be a bit on his side, there was, I think it was number 23 again, right there on him. And none of our defenders said, hey, maybe I should go help my goalkeeper before this ball comes into the box and, kind of push that guy out of the way. So we didn't have that help either. But
They
let's
were all
go,
standing there.
Yeah, let's go back to the Austin game. I think it was. Help me out here, guys. Was that the one that came in the box that Pulskamp could have claimed as well?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was actually going to go right down that path, Robert, is because I was pretty close to it, watching it and shooting it as it happened. And that San Jose player basically kept backing into him. And somebody should have came in and just kind of gently escorted him a little farther away
Exactly,
from their
yeah.
keeper. So that should have been Joaquin, should have been Volater. I don't know who else maybe would have, maybe Bartlett. I don't know. But somebody should have helped him in that regard. And again, John should have done better with it regardless of this. But having somebody irritate your keeper is exactly what a pest does. This is what I did a lot in indoor. Helped my team score a lot of goals by pissing off a lot of goalies. I was an asshole, I admit it. But that's what that guy was. But they needed the defender to move him out or help him.
Robert, we've talked about this a few times. Is our defense good? I can't tell. Are we good?
It's a unit thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what
That's what we
defense
have
as
on
a
our
whole.
rundown. Defensive unit, and the unit isn't quite working together well yet. We've got to have that continuity. It's been 4 games in 11 days. You got to give them that a little bit, but we need to put a stop to this soon, right?
Also, it's Joaquin only had 2 games last year, so I mean, at least he got a preseason this year. You have Volater in there. Is he the solution, or is it going to be Rosero, or is it going to stay with being Volater because he's left-footed? I don't know.
Where do you guys stand in this room? Would you go Rosero or Volater? I think I'm okay with Joaquin, right? I know it's 3 league games in for him. I think I'm okay with that.
He's good on the ball. He's good positionally. There have been moments
Yep.
1v1
Yep.
where he has not done as well as I'd wish.
Some bad passes. I've seen it. No one on the team has been perfect, but yeah, I don't know. There's enough there. And hey, the header on the set piece. If we have a target on set pieces, that's good as well.
I think I'm taking Danny for the set piece opportunity.
Same.
Yeah, he's a little more dangerous, it feels like.
Over Volater, we're talking.
Yes.
Actually, I'd take him over Joaquin in that regard.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, we know Joaquin can score. It's just the wrong goal.
Hey, now.
I know. I'm
He's never going to give that up.
So Thad,
No.
you're rolling with your 2 center backs of Joaquin and Rosero.
No, I'm probably going with the same 2 that's there now,
Yeah.
unless there's somebody else that shows up at some point. Honestly, it's probably Rosero or Fernandez and Volater just because of the footage stuff. I don't think you have to have a left foot center back. It helps though.
Oh, the footage stuff. I was confused there for a second.
Yeah, sorry.
I got you.
Yeah, that's
No, I think that tracks. Yeah, I think you used that properly.
the footed aspect. And you have Jake back there, who probably won't be back there as soon as you get Brody integrated into the team or Kyrie healthy or both.
Brody got on the field last night for
Yep.
the first time, a few minutes.
And looked okay. I seem to remember there was some moment where he just did something I thought was like, oh, please don't. But otherwise, I thought he was okay.
Well, going back on my rewatch this morning, what I'm talking about as far as the defensive unit goes is there are times when our center backs didn't step up into, say, midfield area to mark
Yeah.
a guy, and Bartlett, wasn't dropping back. So they've got to figure out, okay, what happens in those scenarios? We can't leave players in those gaps to exploit us. So that's one major thing.
I've started to see people like say, oh, Bartlett shouldn't be playing until he's better. But this is how 19-year-olds get better, is they play. They make mistakes.
Yeah.
How many times over the last few years we heard play the kids? Play the kids?
You're so right about that. But also, like I was saying, I listed off all the names that San Jose has, and led by Bruce Arena, and we countered it with Zoran Basong and a 19-year-old kid. Like, of course, yeah, you got to play. Maybe he's going to get better. Maybe he's going to turn into a useful player. But in the meantime, we're going to get our shit rocked in the midfield.
At times. I honestly think Bartlett has done pretty well majority of the minutes he's played.
Yes,
he's
has
had some rough
This
moments.
is nothing negative against him. But we're looking at this from the perspective of, all right, can we get this 19-year-old to be a useful MLS player while we're looking at other teams destroying us with Chicho Arango? He's not going to... That's not a formidable opponent right now for us to be competing in this league. It's not.
They had some young players on their side that we should have been rocking on with Manu and DJ9.
Are you picking on Chicho because of his tattoos, Cody? Are you not a fan?
I've always hated him. He has
Is
such
it
a
the hair?
face. It's the hair. It's the face. Yeah, I've always really hated him. And he was with RSL. That
How do you
easy
feel
to
about
hate.
Martinez? Are you a Joseph fan?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like him. That overhead kick he had, that was insane. I almost wanted him to score that, just to be goal of the week. No, that's a good team, and I had that feeling while I was sitting at the Comets game. I'm looking at the lineup for SKC, and I see all these guys, and then in the midfield, okay, Manu, good addition, but then it's Zoran Basong and a 19-year-old kid, and
I get you.
that's not going to work.
I mean, even just like looking at the subs, like you want to be like excited whenever we do make a sub. You just can't about this team.
Yeah.
Well, the first three subs were smart. Those were three guys that were on yellow cards. We got Ndenbe in the match. Those were fine. It was the second two that I think were the disappointments.
Yes.
Leibel got the start just because of the packed schedule, right? He's not preferred over Logan, is he?
I would hope not.
I would not prefer him over Logan, but I don't know. We won't know what Peter really prefers for another month.
Yeah.
Probably. One interesting thing about Joseph Martinez, he wears the mouth guard thing.
Yep.
With his name on it.
Yeah, I know. Of course he does. One of those guys.
In case he loses it.
Well, it was just funny. I was watching like one of them prepare for defending one of the corner kicks, and him and Joveljic are like next to each other, and they look at each other and they start talking and they laugh. And I'm just kind of take some pictures of it, and I zoomed in later, and I'm like, oh, it's got Martinez across his teeth.
So this whole idea that Jake is now free to go into the midfield, he made a name for himself at this other position. That's where he found the success. Yes, he's built up confidence, and now maybe he is going to carry that confidence into the midfield. But the midfield is a different beast entirely. I'm just not 100% sure he's going to be as good in the midfield as the revelation that he was at right back.
But he was, because when he went to right back, it was because he was needed. And yeah, it was like a revelation, like, hey, he's playing way better than we expected him to play right back.
Right.
But when he went back to the midfield, like him and Basong were kind of playing that double pivot a lot.
Yeah.
And they looked pretty decent. Not amazing. Not like, oh, these are MLS Cup winning pair.
Yeah.
But now maybe if you put him out there with Bartlett, the two Jakes, although I understand Bartlett doesn't like being called Jake, so it's Jake and Bart.
So he's Jacob?
Well, yeah, his
That's
name
what
is
he goes
Jacob,
by? Okay.
But that's not a good nickname on the field, so I believe he's Bart on the field. So I'm just gonna say Jake and Bart, or Bart and Jake.
Okay, yeah, I'm down for that.
But anyway, we'll have to see like how they do out there too. Hopefully they will play well with Manu in front of them, kind of play that double pivot thing.
Now, Cody, I understand what you're saying when you say that he made his name at right back. I think what Thad said is more of what it was. Hey, he's a revelation. Well, he can play right back too. I think when he was in midfield is when he was strongest, when he could use all his abilities, all his tools. But talking about the midfield, Manu is really a hard worker in there. Defensively, he's smart and he does some good stuff. So I think if you do get Davis in there with Manu, and then it's a choice, do we do a double pivot, or is it just Bartlett, or is it just Radia, or who is it? So that needs to be figured out. But I think part of the solution is getting Jake back in the midfield for sure.
Okay. You sold me.
At least with the players that Sporting currently has.
Right.
And, if you add somebody, that changes up what you do. But at this point, with the players Sporting currently has, I think the best midfield is Bartlett, Davis, and Manu.
Bartlett over Radia.
I do.
Okay.
I'm not. So far, he's been starting over Radia.
Yeah.
He's more mobile.
He's more mobile. He has more upside in some ways. And again, he's still young, and you got to play him in order to get him those experiences.
Yep.
So, yes, he's going to make some mistakes. He's going to do some stupid shit. But he's already at a point where at 19, he's not. If he's not surpassed Radia, he's pretty close. They're still very different players. And you still have to get them game experience with Joaquin and Volader and or Rosero and whatever outside backs, because it is, when we talk about the defensive unit, it's not the back four, it's the back five with a keeper, or it's the back six with a D mid. That's what really has to work well together. But it's pieces.
But Cody, if we're going to acquire a player, because we have some roster spots to do it now or summer, whatever, I think midfield is where we need to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. That's where I was going with that discussion.
Or another defender.
Is our defensive unit good? Did we answer that question?
No, we have not answered that question. This year has not given us a chance to really totally know what this team is going to look like. I mean, it's 4 games in, but it's really 2 league games and 2 Miami games with a guy who works magic.
But let's make this point, too. We allow 1 goal versus Miami in the first game here. We allow 1 goal against Austin. Last night, 2. Yeah, they were a little fluky, but still allowed 2. But we only scored 2 goals in 4 games, guys. Yeah. That's not going to win us any games.
Yeah, no, that's the bigger problem right now. And again, it's how much time do you give them before you say, oh, it's a failure? Because it does. Some teams will take a lot of time to gel, some won't. Obviously, San Jose has gelled fairly well, but it's also guys who were very MLS experienced.
And one of those goals was a PK, and the other one was a deflection.
Yeah, I know. But hey, at least there was a PK scored.
Thad, you mentioned Radoja. He came in and got that yellow card. By my count, that is now 3 Sporting KC players that have gotten a yellow card for this new effort of where the captain is the only one that can talk to the ref.
Yeah.
Leibold also got one that same game.
Yeah, Leibold was for kicking the ball away, though, which was stupid.
Oh, it was? Okay, I missed that.
Yeah.
I just saw there was another foul, and then he was standing there and all of a sudden got a yellow card. I was like, oh, he said something.
No, that yellow was a little debatable.
Yeah.
He was still kind of continuing the play. He was just maybe a second late.
Yeah. Because
I think it was more than a second.
Well, I wasn't on that end to hear the whistle. I didn't hear the whistle, but it seemed like it was in continuation of the play. And I've heard from other people besides the estimable Carey that it was like less than a second after the whistle.
Okay.
I don't know that for a fact. But.
Didn't appear that way from where I was, but I wasn't close.
I was right there.
Yeah.
The estimable Carey. I like that. Thad, good thing, bad thing. Give me a good thing and a bad thing from the San Jose loss last night.
They finally scored a PK. I'm taking an easy, cheap one on that.
Man, we're stretching.
I know. Bad thing is, bad luck still plays the biggest role for this team.
You got to make your own luck, though, right? At a certain point. I think that's where you and I reached in our frustration last year. Is, like I said at the beginning, we can convince you, look at individual games, you can convince yourself of this and that, but it's how many times do we have this conversation? After every game, it's, yeah, but.
You know, things in life, like you feel the power of positivity kind of thing. Like, hey, life is good.
Manifestation.
And something goes bad, like, okay, it's no big deal. Life is still good. If you kind of live that, I try to live that. I fail a fair amount of times, but life is good. I'm sitting here talking soccer with friends who understand soccer and we love it. And every once in a while I have somebody go, hey, I appreciate listening to the pod, man. I love it.
It feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Somebody came up to me last night, like, hey, you helped me get through the off season. And I don't want to say names because there's a reason for that, but I just appreciate that stuff. It makes me happy, but I don't do it just for that. I would sit here and do it if we had 5 listeners, quite honestly. I love sitting and talking soccer, and sometimes we debate it. So anyway, power positivity. If they believe, the bad things won't happen as often. I really do believe that. They're not bad players. It's just you're so snake bit sometimes that no matter what happens, you get down.
We have at least twice the number of 5 listeners. Can someone give me something better than we finally scored a PK? One good thing from this game. Anybody have something better than that?
Well, Carrie and I get each a turn, right? Yeah.
Okay,
So,
yes.
ladies
Yes, you guys
first.
can
Go
all
ahead,
go.
Carrie.
I was only asking Thad, but yes, go ahead.
That was supposed
Go
to be for
ahead.
everybody.
Go ahead, Robert, because
Oh, do
I
you
was
not
going to
have
say I was going to say the PK.
Oh, okay.
And I'm glad that there were certain people in attendance that got to see that PK get scored.
What does that mean? Who? Elaborate.
10,000 people. Johnny Russell?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't want to say it.
Hey, Thad got a phone number last night, by the way. Anyway.
Wait, why would we not say Johnny Russell? Is this
I
a
don't
secret?
know. No, I just didn't want to be mean to Johnny.
Hey, Willie Agata was there, too.
Oh,
Anyway.
okay. All right, Carrie. I just put that all together. I get it now because Johnny had missed some PKs. We weren't hitting PKs when he was here, and so now he got to see one
Yes,
get made.
yes.
Okay, I'm sorry for explaining the joke. I just was sitting here so confused I didn't get it.
Everybody on this side of the table got it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Then all of our listeners, I'm sorry. I was the only one that didn't get it. I hope everybody else
It
did.
was more clear than a club penguin.
Okay, I'm sorry.
As far as I know, he was standing up and just staring the entire time. Like, did not sit. The other people were sitting, so he definitely saw it.
All right, good thing. You know, this is some people will say grasping straws, but I really did like the character of the team when we went down 2. You know, I mean, especially, and maybe I'm just looking at the new glittering of the new guys, but Shoppy and Manu, were not deterred by that. They kept fighting, kept working. They were trying to do inventive stuff. You know, Tommy too, and other players too. But I did like that part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They fought back. That's all we can really hope for this season. Like, they're going to have a lot of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, when your team is not at the top of the table, you need to see them do that kind of thing and show you that it's not over that quickly.
So I think maybe Vermees, we need a different character in this team. It maybe saw some of that last night. But of course, the bad part is am I right? 9 games in a row now of no wins.
Yes.
I lost count.
I didn't know that stat. That was a good stat that the announcer on Apple TV announced, that it was a club record, 8 games in a row without a win. That's a franchise record. I had not heard that.
Woohoo!
Now we're at 9. Even better. Look at that.
It's not a league record though, is it?
Can't be. Someone had it. San Jose probably had to be worse than that, right?
Or Toronto.
Okay,
Chicago.
Carrie.
Okay, my positive from the game is that first half, it did seem like we were taking a lot more shots outside the box. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. I don't know if I'm just...
That's not a good thing.
Well,
Yeah, it is.
Here it is.
No, low percentage.
But
Modern game of soccer, you're just not supposed to do that
But
anymore.
last year, it felt like every single goal that we attempted was they just wanted to dribble into the goal.
That's true.
Yeah.
So,
Every shot from inside the 6
yes,
was the attempt.
a pass.
Yeah.
They wanted the pass.
And they could never get it.
Yes.
There was no one that could make that final pass.
Yes. So, this team is hungry, as you guys kind of just said. And with that is the shots that are getting fired, even if they're not on target. You know what? I will take it. Grasping at straws here.
Yeah, that's what I really liked about Shoppy. And if it's true that this team really just took a flyer on this guy, then what a win. What a get that is.
Did you watch the behind the scenes or behind the crest where they just
Oh,
talked
no,
to
I haven't done that yet.
Mr. Burns?
No, and it's titled Excellent. Did they commandeer that joke from us?
Yes.
At a certain point, you're just stealing the joke from us. We definitely did that first. I responded to one of the first things they ever mentioned about Burn, or the first thing we did in this offseason with that meme. And now they've just commandeered it.
Yes.
No shout out, no retweet, nothing ever
They're
that
not
says
going to.
where this came from. Now it's a thing. Every time the team makes a move, you see the Mr. Burns thing out there.
Yeah. Who was like the first one to call him Mr. Burns?
Yes, it originated with that. I made the meme.
Yes, you did. You did. You're a meme person.
I was flattered at first, and I don't know. The more they do it, I'm like, hey, that's ours.
Well, Cody, In an effort to derail the show a little more, I know both you and I are Seinfeld fans. What came first, though? Was it Newman's excellent? Or was it Mr. Burns and The Simpsons excellent?
That's actually pretty good. Simpsons is older, right?
It is older, but which came first? I'm just curious.
That's interesting. Newman does have a...
Excellent.
I never made the connection between those two characters.
I don't know. I'm just curious. But
No, that
anyway,
was good.
Bald and evil?
I would like to point out, though, to Carrie's point, that I think this is a thing, because I've heard it, that Sporting did score the most goals outside of the 18 last year in MLS.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to get that magic.
No, I'm telling you, in the Premier League on Pep Guardiola's Manchester City team, it's a low percentage shot.
Oh, I agree with you for sure.
Yeah, it is a low percentage shot. However, if you don't take those shots, when you take those shots, at least occasionally, you have guys, outside backs and midfielders that will take those shots. It at least increases the chance that the defenders will come out a little bit to lessen the chance of that shot being good.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it opens up little things. So it's all part of the balance of trying to get it. If you only shoot from the outside, then you probably aren't going to score a lot of goals. If you only try to pass the ball into the 6-yard box, you're probably not going to score a lot of goals. It's a balance of having different types of shots.
Okay, my good thing was Shoppy. My bad thing was Pulskamp.
How long are you going to give Pulskamp? Like, is there like...
I think I'm already out.
Okay. I was looking at the schedule, and if we're following Peter Vermes' 10 matches, that puts us at right after we go to Cincinnati. That's like late April. And I'm willing to give him that.
Okay.
Because I'm going to that game.
Okay. This is a good question, though. Like, how many more of these blunders? There was one thing when he was the backup, and maybe he's going to be the guy you can suffer through a couple of those things as he's growing. But he's the man now.
But then again, are we just going to look to our backup?
Well, yeah, here's the thing. We don't have Open Cup games to put a guy in and see what he can do and show well and maybe, upset the number one keeper in that way. It's an MLS game he's going to have to go into.
Yeah. I mean, but who's going to do it? Shayway?
Jack Kortkamp, Daily News.
At this point, I am willing to give Pulskamp the year.
Okay.
I'm willing to give Bartlett the year. I'm willing to give pretty much all these players at least half a season.
Okay, that's a valid point.
Because it is...
We're getting caught up and emotional and watching the team lose, but you're right. Rebuilding year, it's about the future this season.
Now, I know there will be fans who will have a great point that, hey, San Jose turned it around in a year, but we also know San Jose has won 2 games. We don't know what they'll be like in 3 months when 2 older forwards are having to compete in stuff. You know what I mean? So we don't know what that'll be like. It's 2 games. You got to, if you want to say Pulskamp should have played over Tim in the past, then you got to do it now. You got to allow him time to either get in a groove, get his game, or not. Otherwise, you go call Tim and bring it back, and then you release Pulskamp to go someplace else.
You'd call Tim back instead of going to Kortkamp or Shayway?
Well, if you're in the position that you don't want to have players making mistakes because they're young or because they're inexperienced,
right,
then
valid point. 4 undefeated teams remaining after the games last night. San Jose, LAFC in the West, and Philadelphia and Columbus in the East. Vancouver could also join them. They're playing the Galaxy tonight, Sunday Night Soccer. I'm loving Sunday Night Soccer. We just needed another night for this.
Technically, that's a Sunday afternoon soccer. The Miami game's a Sunday night, but yeah.
Oh,
agreed.
yeah. Okay, you're right. Yeah, 2 games today. That's right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, Vancouver versus the Galaxy. Galaxy, not so sure about them.
They got to figure out how to play without Ricky. Of course, they're missing Paintsol last week, too, and he's going to be out a couple of weeks, so that's not going to help.
They're missing a lot of people.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, though. I'm going to keep my eye on the
DJ
Galaxy.
Nine's here. They had to trade an expensive player to get an expensive player, then waive him. I mean,
Shit show. Gotta love MLS, baby.
take out payday loans. I mean, I am curious, like, would Sporting fans want a team where they leveraged everything to the max and then couldn't keep most of that team the next year if they had a chance of going all the way to the MLS Cup? I mean, it wasn't like they were predestined going to win that MLS Cup, right? I mean, it was still a battle up until...
Yeah, interesting philosophical question. Would you dismantle this team and hurt you for 4 years if you would guarantee MLS Cup this year?
Well, you're never guaranteed. You're just guaranteed of probably making a good run.
But that's this philosophical question here. Do you want an MLS Cup title that bad that you would say, yes, give me it this year for guaranteed, and we're going to be terrible for the next 4?
How about I turn this around? If we've suffered for 4 bad years, how are we guaranteed an MLS Cup run?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things about watching, this MLS season so far is you've got teams who have signed these big name strikers, and the big name strikers, for the vast majority, have showed well, except for ours so far. I mean, obviously scored a PK last night, but yeah, that kind of hurts a little
Almost didn't even score that.
bit. I know. Keeper got hands on
Keeper
it.
got his hands on it.
Oh, no, that was a really well taken PK.
It could have been a little more to the corner.
It could have been a little farther over. Keeper got his hands on it, and you can hear it even hit the keeper's hands.
I know, and
It had
it's
enough
still
power,
went in.
though.
That's what I'm
It
saying.
did. Yeah.
A perfect PK is unstoppable, and on that play, the keeper guessed the right way, had a strong hand, and still was beaten. That was a well taken PK.
Going back to your MLS Cup after 4 years dismantling, I was trying to count how many years it's been since 2017. I think 6.
You were trying to count.
You
Yeah,
think?
I was trying to count.
More than 6. Did you get math in school?
2025, 2017, that's...
Jesus,
Well,
Sherry.
I don't know if I should count 2020 or not.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Give me 2 more years and then ask me that question.
Well, if you don't you take away the didn't Sporting finish first 2020? Guess you got to take that away.
Oh, yeah, regular season. That was one of those.
You can only play the teams that are in front of you, regardless of how they divvy up the stupid things.
Thad, the team in front of Sporting Kansas City this week is DC United.
Handball United.
They're at 2 draws to start the season. They had a 96th minute equalizer last night. Benteke is still scoring goals. He scored in the 3rd minute of that game for them last night.
4 goals scored, 4 goals against in those 2 games.
That's crazy. He's one of those guys that it makes me... You think MLS is doing better, and then you just bring in this big dude. He's 90 years old, but he's just big, and he knows how to score a
90?
goal. And all you got to do, kick a ball in the air, big guy will still score it. It makes me sad for MLS. Could he be doing this in another league, Robert? If you put him,
sure
if you put
he
him in
could.
if you put him in the English Championship, are people still lobbing in crosses and he's getting up and scoring them? Or
Well, Cody-
is this a knock on MLS?
Cody, this makes me think of, I don't know if you saw the interview with Messi that was fairly recently done, where his quote in there basically, and I'm paraphrasing, is that MLS wants this end-to-end offensive action, offensive displays, implying there's not a whole lot of defense being played in MLS. And I think there's something to that for sure.
He's right.
Benteke is 34, by the way.
So could a old slow guy still score in a league? Well, look at Liga MX. We got Polito down there scoring goals. I said this just for Carrie.
You really punched me in the face with a 34-year-old there that I just acted like was extremely old, and he is my peer. So I can't believe the way we talk about athletes.
He's 6'3".
Oh, that
You're
hurts. Hey, I'm 6'1".
oh, are you really? Okay.
I'm over 6 foot.
Just so you know, there will be a segment in a little while that I'm going to ask you if you scored. We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, let's talk about the DC United game. Who do you want to see after a week's rest? Who's your preferred starting lineup? You're not putting Leibold out there, right? Did we settle that? Logan and Denbei is getting your start at outside back.
It would for me, yes. With not knowing if there's any other, little knocks or something that's prohibiting him from being at 90-minute fit. If he's 80-minute fit, yes, I'm putting him out there.
Are you putting Brody on the other outside back so you can get Jake in the midfield?
Yes.
He got his first minutes. Give him a start. Let's go.
He knows how Sporting's played. He's played against them.
Get Jake in the midfield. Let's do this.
And, if you get Shoppy coming back on defense a little bit more, maybe he did some good things. I think, again, I have to rewatch this game because I watched it live and I have not watched a replay yet other than a few, highlights. But I want to see maybe that happen a little bit more too.
Good point.
Would not be a lot of height on that side, though.
So, okay, we didn't mention this yet, but Shallowy did not get the start. And
Yeah, we did go this whole time without mentioning that.
yeah, and then Tommy on the left wing. What did we think of that? Would we do that again?
I like Tommy more on the right as a
Right.
winger,
Correct.
personally. I just feel like he's more effective there, but
I mean, how many times did Tommy start going left and then cut back to his right to try to get that, cross or that shot into the far post?
Yeah, there were definitely times where I think Manu assumed that Tommy was on that side, and he just wasn't. And so the ball would go out of bounds or just go straight
I saw
to
that at least once, yeah.
Oh, there was something that happened last night I should have pointed out that if you watch the replay, you might have seen. I caught DJ9.
You caught him?
Yes. Towards the end of the game, he was coming down, and the defender bodied him out, and he went backwards towards the boards. And literally, it looked like he was about to come over the boards. He hit the top, sorry about that, hit the top of the boards, and I caught him like this.
Good
I
job.
just put my hand up, and guy next to me was trying to make sure he didn't go over also.
Add savior to Thad's list of accomplishments.
Thank you for your service.
You think there were angels singing?
Just, hey, if he turns around and scores a bunch of goals, I want to make sure that I take credit for him not getting injured, falling over into a fat old photographer.
Yeah, he's got to start scoring.
He scored last night.
The PK.
On a free throw.
A free throw.
According to some, is a really well taken PK.
It was, but we need more than that.
Carrie laughs at the fact that I just like to give you crap in one way or another.
I'm just laughing at everything.
Oh, you are laughing because our listeners can't hear it because both of you, again, leaned away from the mic as to not laugh.
So that's like a pod fine from now on.
Yes.
Whatever happened to the fine jar? Is Cody skimming off the top?
It's in my house.
How much money is in it?
I think there is 0. What did I buy? I bought something. Oh, the case. I used it to buy the case for the board.
There was that much money in it?
Which we don't use.
Which wasn't
no,
at the
I
media
don't
day.
think it's paid for the whole thing.
Okay. it might have paid tax. All right, where were we at? DC United? Who are we starting? Yeah.
I'm hoping to get something out of you guys for the DC United game.
Well, I think we've gone through the back and the midfield. And up front, we were just talking about that. Shallowy or Tommy, assuming it's Shoppy and Jolovich.
So who do you start?
Tommy over Shallowy.
I have to agree until Shallowy gets some kind of momentum.
Right.
I don't know that I do agree with that. I might still put Daniel in over Tommy.
Until he can come in as a sub and maybe score, maybe that's whenever we're like, all right, super sub, you can start. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then you have the other problem. Who would be captain in Tommy's place if Tommy's not starting?
Shallowy.
Would he? Okay.
Well, I mean, and who else? He's
Jake?
Yeah.
Too early?
True. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know how to answer that. I like Jake, and I think he could be the captain of the future. He's still a little bit hot-headed at times, but then again, so's Shallowy. But
Shallowy's hot-headed?
At times. He's probably said a few words that he shouldn't have. I've seen him whine to the refs, but if he has the captain's armband, he can.
Right. Yeah, we got to cut that out. Peter Vermees disciplined team. That's 3 yellow cards that we shouldn't be getting. Oh, I guess it's 2. Yeah.
Well, 2 of the 3 last night were not smart cards.
Yeah.
Bartlett's, he had no reason to do what he did. He was near midfield. He didn't need to foul the guy.
No, he did not. And it's also one that they probably didn't need to give as a yellow because of the position it was at. But
Yeah. And then not that long after that play, he was in the exact same situation.
Yeah, he almost got a second.
And he almost did need to commit that foul.
Yeah.
And he couldn't because he was already on the yellow card.
the Nemanja one for that, it felt like it happened, and him and the ref were like 5 feet apart, and he said something to the ref. So I don't feel like he stepped to the ref to say something.
Yeah.
So I felt like that one was also a little bit unfair in that.
Oh, no, it was fair. If you watch that replay, it was multiple things. He was gesturing towards him.
Yeah.
It was, and he was very close.
And
so.
who knows what he said, too.
Yeah.
What words were used.
It was fair.
But it was also, if I understood the rule, was that you're not supposed to step to the ref if you're not and I didn't see him step to him.
He
but
might have.
He might have, but
The-
I was just
the
saying they were already pretty
gesturing-
close. Like, I mean, it felt like me and Robert close, like how far away he is
Yeah,
from me.
it was. Okay. Predictions for DC United?
1-1.
Yes, I was going to call a draw, too. Yeah.
I'll go with that.
That's a cop-out. You guys have zero. It's just a hopeful. You have no confidence, and you're just hoping.
Okay.
Man, maybe
Cody,
we
we
can
still
say-
have hope. Damn it.
I'll say Garcia scores. It'll be a rocket from outside the 18.
2-1 DC United. Joaquin scores on us. Sorry, I'm not letting him live it down until he gets something on the other end.
3-2. Joveljic gets one, and
You
the
didn't say who
floodgates
win.
open. Sporting KC win.
Okay.
3-2.
And they get some points on the board.
Stuff starts to click. Him and Shoppy are going to connect for a goal.
Everyone's eyes went big when you said 3-2.
Well, it is pretty absurd. We've scored 2 goals the entire season.
And we're going to double it.
More than.
That stuff happens. I mean, you can have.
Yeah.
Even last season, didn't we have like a couple of big wins and then
did, yeah.
nothing?
I think we're due for a ball to bounce off someone's face and go in the net.
Yes.
It would be DC for it to happen.
All right. Comets celebrity game was
Did you
last
get any
night.
balls off your face last night, Cody?
No,
Soccer balls.
no. I did have a few shots on goal,
Did
but
you?
I did not score.
Big celebrity.
Who was in goal? I mean, who was like the big shot stopper for the other team?
I don't know. I didn't really know anyone out there besides my
What they-
former radio station people.
Yeah. What do they look like?
There was a strange music guy out there. I think maybe some Instagrammers.
I thought Hartzell was out there.
Oh, Hartzell was out there.
Mm-hmm.
I clicked into gear. I saw him revving up to shoot it, and I made the longest sprint I made the entire time to break that up so he
Oh,
couldn't
nice.
score. That
Nice.
was good.
Strange music. Was it just Tech 9? And you don't know what Tech 9 looks like?
No, it was some guy named Joey C, which I'm not going to lie, I didn't know who that was. But
Okay, so it was somebody from Strange
was-
Music. It wasn't just a Strange Music.
And he's a rapper from Strange Music,
Okay.
not just a guy in the office. Yeah, he seems cool. I'm always very afraid. My number one thought in these games is don't look like a tryhard. So that's what I mean where I had to click on to go get to Hartzell because I'm trying to just chill out. I'm absurdly competitive, and once I'm in a game, I'm just going to like see red, and I'm just going to try to play too hard. No one wants to see someone do that in these games.
I do. I want wins, man. I want goals. I want blood on the boards.
That's how Hector was playing in this game
Yes.
last night.
Not
That's why,
surprising.
like, he and I almost got into it one year. We were really good friends. I mean, I love Hector, but he was like so pissed off at me for fouling him, man.
He does not mess around in these games.
No.
So yeah, Hector played in this, and then I saw him there in the tunnel, and I was like, you skipped the Sporting KC game too, and he was like, no, I'm going. Leaving after our game. Don't worry.
So the Comets themselves.
Yeah, the Comets had a very nice win, exciting win. They were 3-0 up. Reggett had a hat trick very early.
Oh, nice.
And then Utica, I don't know why that's funny to me. Utica chipped their way back, tied it at 3-3, and then they got the winner there in the fourth quarter. It was a good win.
Did that new player play?
Yes.
Yeah.
He
Is that
did.
the guy that scored?
I don't know his name.
No.
One player opened up his account with the Comets, and the team loved it. They were
yeah.
so pumped by this goal.
Danny Malhu. I'm not sure if that's quite how to say it. But he's been a guy who's been here for the season and has come very close, like so close.
Oh.
Maybe went in and had something called back or just,
Oh,
just
yeah.
the last second save. He's played well. And they kept thinking like, oh, if he gets going, man, he'll get on fire, right? But he just never quite got going. But it was interesting because last night they reported he scored the first goal.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh, good for him. And then it was like, oh, 2 Reggett goals. And then he's the one that scored the 4th goal for the win. But the one you were talking about is Stefan Mijatovic. Not sure how he prefers it to be said. He's the guy who the world saw chasing a guy up a tunnel a couple months ago.
Oh, that's the booing.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that was really funny. Every time that guy touched the ball, the crowd would boo. And then the announcer even said, if you're wondering what was going on there, just keep paying attention. Just keep watching and you'll find out. As in, this guy is such a shithead that if you just watch long enough, you'll understand why everybody hates him.
So the Comets fans were booing him?
Yes, I'm sorry. There's a guy on Utica is the one I was talking about.
Oh, no, I was talking about the new player on the Comets.
Oh, okay. And he was one of them that was in that fight?
Yes.
Nice.
He was with Tacoma. He got traded to the Comets. He is under very strict guidance of what he is allowed to do and not do. And counseling and had anger management class, and he's having to go to a wellness coach multiple times a week.
That's funny. Honestly, he fits right in. This is a really scrappy team, and in this league, I'm here for that.
It's getting choppy in Kansas City.
Yeah. This is why I like you. You make bad dad jokes like I would. Thank you.
Thad, why do you have a picture of Benny Fellhaber in a UMKC jersey? What happened? What was that? Is that AI?
It is not.
That's a real picture of Benny Fellhaber wearing a UMKC soccer jersey playing on the field this weekend.
It was. SKC2 was playing their last preseason match against UMKC. And I'm sitting there just kind of trying to get shots of people and trying to like just talk to some people because it's a little bit of time that I can network with, no PR people around me. But anyway, all of a sudden somebody's like, hey, he came in. Oh, he did come in. Yeah. Oh, he's wearing the 10. And I'm like, why are they talking about this? Because the SKC2 doesn't wear real jerseys. They're just wearing practice jerseys. I'm like looking around like, so then I looked at UMKC and there he was, Benny friggin' Failhaber wearing a 10 jersey for UMKC.
How? Why?
Exactly. What's the explanation here?
Because he could.
He wanted revenge.
Well,
I thought he was in LA now. What happened?
No, he's doing that pod remotely.
Oh, okay.
So he's still here.
Oh, good.
My understanding is he's still here. He's doing that pod remotely. He may have done some helping coaching UMKC once in a while, so there's a relationship there. And he came in and he made sure to tell me that he wanted this to be clear and everybody to know this. He was the only person on that field that has went 4-0. So as a coach of SKC2, he won 3 times against UMKC. As a player for UMKC, he won. So he's 4-0.
Impressive.
But I think he just wanted to stay fit for other playing opportunities that may occur this summer.
TST?
Could be.
Love TST.
Maybe an Open Cup run.
TBT is coming to Kansas City. That tournament started as the basketball tournament, and it's massive. And they're playing here. It's coming
Of
to
course
Kansas
they
City.
are.
It's pretty cool.
What about Kings League? You follow that at all?
I do not. This is soccer
Yes.
in America?
Not yet, but it's coming.
Kings League, like a retirement league, former players?
A lot of it is former players, yeah.
I can get on board with that.
It's
I thought that's what MLS was.
I was about to say that was Sporting KC's roster last year.
and we honored one of them at halftime, Andreo Fontes. But yeah, Kings League. I mean, that's like one reason Utica was not as good last night as they have been through the regular season is Kelvin Oliveira has scored like a hat trick every game in MASL, but he left to go play in Kings League for a month. And he'll come back because I guess they play like only for certain periods of time. I don't truly understand their schedules, but
And they must make better money than MASL makes too.
yeah. So I would not be surprised to see a Kings League in U.S. in the next year or two.
How do the refs work in MASL? Are those guys that were reffing that game last night, are they just guys in Kansas City? Or
No,
is that league flying referees around the country?
They're flying refs.
Okay.
I don't know who was reffing last night, but because there are refs that are here that ref. Drew, Brian Martin, Kyle.
Ryan still does it? I thought he retired.
Oh, he's still doing some stuff.
You guys would know the names of referees like that.
There's the one guy that was from here that reffed in the World Cup,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
and he's reffed and has still, I think, does some stuff with MASL when he's available.
Okay. Robert, I know you have to go. Any final thoughts here? You're the one that's making us leave early. You get to end the show.
Well, I mean, U.S. national team, women's national team, she believes Cup, lost 2-1 Japan. But, current jersey,
Oh, yeah.
love it.
The teal.
Love it.
Yeah, that's
Finally.
really pretty.
Finally.
Loving it.
Are you getting one, Gary?
I am. I'm a little upset that they don't have unisex for the authentic kits. They only have the women's sizing. It's fine. I'll just size up like 3 because I like my jerseys baggy.
Yeah.
So
Was it 175?
yeah, something like
Not
that.
cheap. Not cheap.
So they don't
it's
have
nice.
unisex for that? So,
So if you want unisex, you have to get the replica.
or if I get a real one, I might have to get like 7X.
Was that an exaggeration for the sake of it on 175, or is that
No.
actually what they cost?
It's about what they cost.
Jesus.
It's the same as Adidas, just about.
That's more than Premier League teams and Barcelona, probably.
No, some of those teams are really high up there. Because I was just hearing somebody talk about like the PSG store, because PSG has a store somewhere in Las Vegas, and like go in there and they're like $225.
Wow.
So jerseys are really expensive now, and some more so than others.
But Michelle Cooper did score for the USA,
Yep, and
That's right.
and Hutton got a start.
Yep, looked pretty good.
Mhm.
Although she got the start against the weakest of the three opponents.
But she looked good.
Well, that's
Yes.
the way you do it, though, right?
No, I agree. I try to manage the expectations. You look good. She was one of the real bright spots last year. I thought of young players, and she was in contention for Rookie of the Year, but didn't get it because she's a defensive midfielder. But I was expecting her to get a time with the national team soon. Michelle Cooper is actually the one I was surprised got us.
Me too.
She's looked good. She just didn't score a lot in league play. So I was kind of surprised that she got the call up, but she looked good in camp, I guess. And got a goal. And Cody?
You're the master at that. Finishing a thought and then, one little more. Carrie, 2 more weeks for the Current. March 15th versus the Portland Thorns, one of the greatest team names in professional sports around the world. Except they're not actually thorns. I actually learned this. The things that are on roses are by definition not thorns. And a thorn is supposed to be wooded or spikier. It's technically prickles. They should be the Portland prickles.
Yeah,
I don't think they could do that
to it.
name.
But I'm letting it slide because Portland Thorns in Rose City. What a name. Anyway, March 15th. Carrie, how are you feeling about the Current very quickly?
I'm feeling good. I mean, not a lot of change from last year, of course, but we were a good team last year.
Hell yeah.
Few new additions should kind of help bulk up the depth of the team. Excited about against Portland. They just announced 3 season-ending injuries for some good players of theirs, so it should be.
Wow.
Did Orlando
Ooh.
get better? Oh, sorry.
Who?
Yeah, I didn't know if you knew off the top of your head.
No.
Orlando did get better.
Morgan Weaver is one, right?
Okay.
I get confused between her and Hubley. One of them went to Bay. One of them is now a season-ending injury. So,
So they're both gone.
yes.
Just one more sadly than the other.
All right, well, we might need to lean into the Current again this year if Sporting aren't going to do it for us.
We'll be following along with the Current.
Carrie, you asked me if I've retracted my prediction. You're no longer 9th place?
No, I said I
playoffs?
was 8th place.
Okay, well, have you backed up from that? Now are you at 9th?
No. I feel good about. I shouldn't say I feel good.
Yeah, I don't feel
Not
good.
about this team.
I feel
I feel
9th place.
I feel-
Whatever.
I feel okay. Again, I'm gonna give it the 10 games.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
So, Cody, I'm trying to ask Thad. I thought Thad previewed a little game he had earlier in the pod. Who scored game or something? Did I mishear that?
That was just asking Cody if he scored. To remember to ask Cody if he scored because he
Gotcha.
always talks about how he does well in media games. And now
Celebrity
because
game.
celebrity games, which does he do worse in celebrity games than he does in media games? I don't know. But now because he didn't score, he wants to make sure that people know he's not a tryhard and doesn't really try to score. Even though for a couple years he talked about how he scored when he was offside, but he got a header that happened to bounce into the goal while he was offside. But he talked about it for a couple years. So I don't know. Was he then a tryhard and not now? I don't know. I don't really get it. I don't know the truth behind this. I don't know if I'll ever get Cody to fully admit this. But that's where I was going to go with it.
The other side don't seem so tough, and 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Some punters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.